thought is real, that it is an energy, just as electricity is an energy. And so he said that every thought creates a little bit of a groove in the brain, and repetitive thoughts create deeper and deeper grooves in the brain. Modern neuroscience would say that these are a neurocircuitry or neural pathways in the brain. So think of it, think of the mind as being very kind of plastic. Really, the brain has the consistency of tapioca pudding, one might say. It isn't solid, it's very fluid. And so think of every time energy goes through a neural pathway, it leaves a little track. Well, of all the thoughts we have during the day, we leave all of those little tracks. Now, some of them, if they're positive, along with that positive track, there are also positive neurochemicals that are released that make us feel better. There are 4 or 5 major ones. I won't go into it because it's a little technical, but there are major neurochemicals that make us feel positive or allow us to feel positive. And when we have negative thoughts, or we have fear, or we have anger, it releases, let's call them poisons, negative neurochemicals into the brain. So every thought, we create a little track in the brain, and we also release positive or negative neurochemicals in the brain. And so what we want to do is we want to control our thoughts to the extent that we can, so that we create a healthy, one might call it healthy neurophysiology inside of ourselves. So that, and that, of course, it cascades down the body. You release hormones, positive and negative. And so physically you feel good, or you feel bad, or you feel jerky, or you feel angry, tense. All of those things follow. Along with the neurochemistry, even more importantly, I might say, is that repetitive thinking produces repetitive thinking in the same direction. And so the more we are upset or angry, especially if it's repetitive, that we make a very easy pathway for that thought to repeat itself. And so the more that we can begin to control our thinking, and we can control our thinking. Yogananda gave us many techniques, but by controlling our thinking in a positive direction, we create neural pathways that allow us to be positive. And the more we do that, the more we can unleash those and be positive under all circumstances.
Another aspect too is the principle that Yoganandaji talked a lot about, and that's magnetism. So if you have a positive outlook, if you meet life halfway, if you say yes to life, as Swamiji used that expression, Swami Kriyananda, then you create a positive magnetism and you draw the opportunities to you. And we've seen this countless times in watching Swami Kriyananda operate in the world, where because of his positive energy, he just drew the right people, the right opportunities in his life. And he had many opportunities to be discouraged and to be negative by when Ananda Village burnt to the ground. But he had so trained his consciousness to be uplifted that there was a flow of positive energy, which the greater the will, the greater the flow of energy, greater the flow of energy, the greater the magnetism. And this works positively or negatively. If you have very strong negative magnetism, nothing's going to work. Oh, I have the worst luck and no one's going to care about me. You will manifest that. You will draw that to you exactly. But if you are thinking, I think I can do this. It's hard. I mean, this was Swami's attitude. I'm going to create a community out of nothing with very little money, with a handful of people to help me, but we're going to do this. And in that positive flow of it, and it wasn't with pride, it wasn't with hubris, it was just with the sense, it was with an upward flow of energy. And that magnetically drew amazing opportunities. And I remember once we were in a bookstore with Swami Kriyananda, and he found a book that he liked. It was on display. I don't even remember what the book was, but he said it was a small shop. And he said to the owner, "Oh, I'd like to buy this book." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. That's our only copy. It's display. We're out of them." And Swami looked at the book and he got out his phone and he said, "Well, I'm just going to call the publisher and have him mail me the book." And the bookstore owner said, "My sir, you're very direct." And Swami said, "I don't know how else to be." He just was so solution oriented that whenever a block came, he found a solution. And so being positive is not, it's planting seeds for the future, for your success in the future, for opportunities, for good health, for so many things that we strive for in life. But we need to understand that it's because of the positive flow of magnetism we put out that these things come to us.